humans and cyborgs. A professor at the University of Chicago believes he is on his way to creating a wearable full market that will manipulate your muscles with electrical impulses to cause you to move involuntarily so you can perform a physical task you otherwise didn't know how to do, like playing a musical instrument or operating machinery. Dr. Pedro Lopez, who has the Human-Computer Integration Lab at the university, is all about integrating humans and computers, closing the gap between human and machine. His team, which focuses on engineering the next generation of wearable and haptic devices, is exploring the endless possibilities a wearable could intentionally share parts of our body for input and output, allow computers to be more directly interwoven in our body sense and actuators. Lopez vision a wearable EMS device that would look like a sleeve and be able to send electrical impulses and in the right timing, in the right fashion to make users' muscle move involuntarily to perform a physical task. EMS stands for electrical muscle stimulation. Think training people to operate tools they are not familiar with, he said, or speeding up a user's reaction time to train someone to have better reflexes. According to Dr. Lopez, by speeding up a user's muscle stimulation, they could, for instance, have superhuman reflexes be so fast that the technology can also teach people to play musical instruments, use tools, and operate machinery, for example. This new wearable tech is closing the gap between humans and cyborgs. A professor at the University of Chicago believes he is on his way to creating a wearable full market that will manipulate your muscles with electrical impulses to cause you to move involuntarily so you can perform a physical task you otherwise didn't know how to do, like playing a musical instrument or operating machinery. Dr. Pedro Lopez, who has the Human-Computer Integration Lab at the university, is all about integrating humans and computers, closing the gap between. His team, which focuses on engineering the next generation of wearable and haptic devices, is exploring the endless possibilities of wearables could intentionally share parts of our body for input and output, allowing computers to be more directly interwoven in our bodily sensing and actuators. Lopez vision a wearable EMS device that look like a sleeve and be able to send electrical impulses in the right timing and in the right fashion to make a user's muscles move involuntarily to perform a physical task. EMS stands for electrical muscle stimulation. Think training people to operate tools they are not familiar with, he said, or speeding up a user's reaction time to train someone to have better reflexes. According to Dr. Lopez, by speeding up a user's muscle stimulation, they could, for instance, have superhuman reflexes and so fast that they could take a picture of flying baseball. The technology can also teach people to play musical instruments, use tools, and operate machinery, for example. His team, which focuses on engineering the next generation of wearable and haptic devices, is exploring the endless possibilities. If wearables could intentionally share parts of our body for input and output, allowing computers to be more directly interwoven in our bodily senses and actuators. Holiday spending expected to rise 5%, but don't expect bigger crowds at the mall. Here's why. It may only be October, but the December holiday shopping rush is just around the corner. Around 50% of the consumers have already started looking for items on their friends and family's wish list, according to a new online survey from the for OpenX ad exchange net that pulled 2,000 shoppers in August. The holidays are a critical time for many brands. Sales during this time of year can make up 30% of retailers' annual revenue. Heading into the gift-giving season, shoppers are expected to spend 5% more this year than they did last year, according to the survey. What we found should be encouraging to retail marketers trying to drive action this holiday season. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of OpenX, consumers are optimistic about the future of the economy, and their optimism consumers more this year. They also plan to spend their money differently than last year. Cardigan's team expects 50% to be done digitally. In fact, around 20% of purchases are expected to happen on mobile devices, driven predominantly by millennial shoppers. With more than holiday shoppers reporting that spend more than 3 hours a day on their mobile devices, it's no wonder their shopping habits are shifting. On mobile-friendly retail and apps have been purchasing anything from dish to swimsuits incredibly easy. This growing shift could even impact how consumers purchase items on big shopping holidays like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. On Black Friday, traditionally a day from brick and mortar, the number of consumers planning to shop online versus in-store is almost identical, the report said. Holiday spending expected to rise 5%, but don't expect big across at more. Here's why. It may only be October, but December holiday shopping rush is just around the corner. Around 50% of consumers have already started rounding for items on their friends and family wish list, according to a new online survey from Harris Poll and OpenX, an ad exchange network that polled 2,000 shoppers in August. The holidays are a critical time for many brands. Sales during this time of year can make up 30% of retailers' annual revenue. Heading into the gift-giving season, shoppers are expected to spend according to the survey. What we found should be encouraging to retail marketers trying to drive action this holiday season, said Tim Cardigan, Chairman and Chief Executive Officer of OpenX. Consumers are optimistic about the future of the economy, and their optimism will fuel increased spending. More this year, they also plan to spend their money differently than last year. Cardigan's team expects 53% of all holiday shopping to be done digitally. In fact, around 20% of purchases are expected to happen on mobile devices, driven predominantly by millennial shoppers, with more than half of holiday shoppers reporting that spend more than 3 hours a day on their mobile devices. No wonder their shopping went quickly out in retail sale. Apps have made purchasing anything from dish swimsuit incredibly easy. Shopping holidays like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. On Black Friday, traditionally a day from brick and mortar, the number of consumers planning to shop online versus in store is almost identical, the report said. Holiday spending expected to rise 5%, but don't expect it big across at more. Here's why. It may only be October, but the December holiday shopping rush is just around the corner. Around 50% of consumers have already started looking for items on their family wish list, according to a new online survey from Harris Poll and OpenX, an ad exchange network that polled 2,000 shoppers in August. The holidays are a critical time for many brands. Sales during this time of year can make up 30% of retailers' annual revenue. Heading into the gift-giving season, shoppers are expected to spend 5% more this year than they did last year. What we found should be encouraging to retail marketers trying to drive action this holiday season. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer for OpenX. Consumers are optimistic about the future economy, fuel and increased spending. However, more this year, they also plan to spend their money. Cardigan's team expects 53% of all holiday shopping to be done digitally. In fact, around 20% purchases are expected to happen on mobile devices, driven predominantly by millennial shoppers. With more than half 3 hours a day on their devices. Holiday spending expected to rise 5%, but don't expect it big across at the mall. Here's why. It may only be October, but the December holiday shopping rush is just around the corner. Around 50% of consumers have already started looking for items on their friends' and family's wish list, according to a new online survey from the Harris Poll and OpenX, an ad exchange network that polled 2,000 shoppers in August. The holidays are a critical time for many brands. Sales during this time of year can make up 30% of a retailer annual revenue. Heading into the gift-giving season, shoppers are expected to spend 5% more this year than they did last year, according to the survey. What we found should be encouraging to retail marketers trying to drive action this holiday season, said Tim Cardigan, chairman and chief executive officer for OpenX. Consumers are optimistic about the future of the economy and they will fuel increasing spending. However, while consumers plan to spend more this year, they also plan to spend their money differently. Last year, Cardigan's team expected 53% of all shopping to be done digitally. In fact, around 20% of purchases are expected to happen on mobile devices, driven predominantly by millennial shoppers, with more than half of holiday shoppers reporting that they spend more than 3 hours a day on their mobile devices. No wonder shopping habits are shifting. One-click ordering and mobile friends retail sites and app have made purchasing anything from digital to swim sales incredibly easy. Even impact how consumers purchase items on big shopping holidays like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. On Black Friday, traditionally a day for brick and mortar, the number of consumers planning to shop online versus in store is almost identical, the report said. Holiday spending expected to rise 5%, but don't expect big across at the mall. Here's why. It may only be October, but the December holiday shopping rush is just around the corner. Around 50% of consumers have already started looking for items on their friends' and families' wish list, according to a new online survey from the Harris Poll and OpenX that had exchanged net shoppers in August. The holidays are a critical time for many brands. Sales during this time of year can make up 30% of retailers' annual revenue. Heading into the gift-giving season, shoppers are expecting 5% more this year than they did last year, according to the survey. What we found should be encouraging to retail makers trying to drive action this holiday season. Cardigan, chairman and chief executive officer of OpenX. Consumers are optimistic about the future. Optimism will fuel increased spending. However, while consumers plan to spend more this year, they also plan to spend more different than last year. Cardigan's team expects 53% of all holiday shopping to be done digitally. In fact, around 20% of purchases are expected to happen on mobile devices, driven predominantly by millennial shoppers, with more than half of shoppers reporting that they spend more than 3 hours a day on their mobile device. It's wonder that shopping habits are one-click ordering on mobile phone retails, purchasing anything from digital swimsuit incredibly easy. The ground shift could even impact how consumers purchase items on big shopping holidays like Black Friday and Cyber Monday. On Black Friday, traditionally a day for brick and mortar, the number of consumers planning to shop online versus in store is almost identical, the report said. China denies flexing muscles in military parade. Beijing denied last Tuesday that a huge military parade planned for China's 70th anniversary was a sign of the country flexing its muscles. The country is wrapping up for preparations up on October 1, marking the day of the Chinese Communist Party seized control and established the People's Republic of China. Beijing A Defense Ministry spokesman unveiled more details about the upcoming parade and said that the strength of Chinese military was a chance to provide more positive energy for world peace. Tuesday's military procession through the center of the capital will last 80 minutes and showcase the army's most advanced weaponry. If the Chinese army displays weapons and equipment, then it is flexing its muscles. But if it doesn't display them, then it is opaque, said Senior Colonel Wu Qian, defense spokesman. In the past 70 years, the development and growth of the Chinese military has been obvious to all. We have neither intentions nor the need to flex our muscles through a military parade. Around 15,000 members of the armed forces will march the display, which will showcase around 580 pieces of military hardware, all domestically made. There will also be an anniversary show on Beijing's Tiananmen Square. China denies flexing muscles in military parade. Beijing denied last Tuesday that a huge military parade planned for China's 70th anniversary was a sign of a country flexing its muscles. The country is wrapping up preparations for a week holiday from October 1, marking the day the Chinese Communist Party seized control and established the People's Republic of China. At a press conference in Beijing, a defense ministry spokesman unveiled more details about the upcoming parade and said that the strength of the Chinese military was a chance to provide more positive energy for world peace. Tuesday military procession through the center of the capital will last 80 minutes and showcase the army's most advanced weaponry. If the weapons and equipment, then it is flexing its muscles. But if it doesn't display them, then it is opaque, said Senior Colonel Wu Qian, defense spokesman. In the past 70 years, the development and growth of Chinese military has been obvious to all. We have neither intention nor the need to flex our muscles through a military parade. Around 15,000 members of the armed forces will march in this display. Will showcase around 580 pieces of military hardware, all domestically made. There will also be an anniversary show on Beijing's Tiananmen Square. China denies flexing muscles in military parade. Beijing denied last Tuesday that a huge military parade planned for China's 70th anniversary was a sign of the country flexing its muscles. The country is wrapping up preparation for a week's holiday from seized control and established the People's Republic of China. At a press conference in Beijing, a defense ministry spokesman unveiled more details about the upcoming parade and said that the strength of Chinese military was a chance to provide more positive energy for world peace. Tuesday's military procession through the center of the capital will last 80 minutes and showcase the army's most advanced weaponry. If the Chinese army displays weapons and equipment, then it is flexing its muscles, but if it doesn't display them, then it is opaque, said Senior Colonel Wu Qian, defense spokesman. In the past 70 years, the development and growth of Chinese military has been obvious to all. We have neither intentions nor the need to flex our muscles through military parades. Around 15,000 members of the armed forces will march in the display, which will showcase around 580 pieces of military hardware, all domestically made. There will also be an anniversary show on Beijing's Tiananmen Square. China denies flexing muscles in military parade. Beijing denied last Tuesday that a huge military parade planned for China's 70th anniversary was a sign of the country flexing its muscles. The country is wrapping up preparations for a weekend holiday for October 1, marking the day the Chinese Communist Party seized control and established the People's Republic of China. At a press conference in Beijing, a defense ministry spokesman unveiled more details about upcoming parade and that strength military was a chance to provide more positive energy for world peace. Tuesday's military procession through the center of the capital will last 80 minutes and showcase the Army's most advanced weaponry. If the Chinese Army displays weapons and equipment, then it is flexing its muscles. But if it doesn't display them, then it is opaque, said Senior Colonel Wu Qian, defense spokesman. In the past 70 years, the development and growth of the Chinese military has been obvious to all. We had neither intentions nor the need to flex our muscle through a military parade. Around 15,000 members of the armed forces will march in the display will showcase of the armed forces. Pieces of military hardware will all domestically made. There will also be an anniversary show on Beijing's Tiananmen Square. New blood tests could detect more than 20 types of cancer. A new blood test could detect more than 20 types of cancer, allowing cases to be identified and treated far earlier. Experts said the breakthrough, which spots changes in the genes as disease develops, could be used to improve screening for cancer, allowing treatment much sooner, so it is more likely to succeed. Crucially, 99.4% cases identified as cancer was correctly spotted, means just 0.6% of cases were misdiagnoses of healthy patients. The test was able to detect 1/3 of patients with stage 1 disease and 3/4 of those with the 2 disease. Ministers have pledged to speed diagnosis so that by 2028, 3/4 of cancer patients are diagnosed at these 2 stages. Currently, just half of patients can expect to receive a diagnosis before they reach stage 3 or 4. The advances by use as scientists look for abnormal patterns of methylation in the DNA, which can indicate different types of cancer. The study found a new method could even pinpoint cancer source nearly 90% of the time, including for diseases like ovarian pancreatic disease, which are some of the most difficult to spot. Study lead author Dr. Jeffrey Oxnell of the Boston Dana-Farber Cancer Institute, part of Harvard Medical School, said, "Our work indicated that methylation-based assays outperform traditional DNA sequencing approaches to detecting multiple forms of cancer in blood samples. The results of a new study demonstrate that such assays are a feasible way of screening people for cancer." In a study, researchers analyzed cell-free DNA, which entered the bloodstream after becoming detached when its parent cell dies, in more than 3,500 blood samples. Expectations are sky-high for Nintendo's latest Mario mobile game, analysis says. For Nintendo's Mario Kart Tour, a mobile version of its popular race franchise, one analyst tells CNBC that expectations for the title are sky-high. The Mario Kart franchise has been around for more than 2 decades, consistently ranking among Nintendo's top-selling games across its devices going back to at least its DS handheld, according to the latest data published by Nintendo on its investor relations site. For Mario Kart Tour, we think the market expects 10 million first-week downloads, analysis at Morgan Stanley MUFG Securities wrote in a note earlier in September. The expectations are sky-high for Mario Kart Tour because it is such a big intellectual property and it is such a big franchise, said Total, CEO and founder of industry consultancy Canton Games. Asian advisor Amir Advance agreed, telling CNBC that the launch of Mario Tour is very, very big. What's interesting in this particular game as well is that you will have lots of opportunities to spend money on this game content sales, such as buying different cars or different characters, said Amazada. He added that the game is likely to be much more profitable than Nintendo's past attempts to crack in the mobile gaming space. One analyst had previously described Nintendo's mobile game as a bit of mixed bag. Canton Games Total said investors should manage their expectations to some extent, as the initial launch of marketed car tour has a big minus that is core to the game of popularity, the lack of multiplayer mode. Still, he said, be a hit nevertheless.